2, 1. By law, we are recorded for podcast purposes.
All right. So I won't have to file a lawsuit against you tomorrow morning then.
Well, damn. LinkedIn is a great tool to connect. The fact that the university you graduated from is highlighted on there a lot of times allows for people to find people who have similar backgrounds, especially what college they went to, and allows you to connect with them if you're looking for an opportunity in a similar field. Well, today's guest simply became family with the start of a LinkedIn message. Miss Chelsea Johnson. Miss Chelsea and I met back in 2016 when she was inquiring about interning at ESPN. I was about a year removed, so we had a conversation, and that led to us becoming good friends. Chelsea has since moved on, and she is now a multimedia journalist in Western Pennsylvania at WJAC TV. So get ready for today's episode as she comes on to discuss her story, discuss how she got to where she did, and how she started off right here in Baltimore, interned at ESPN, worked at WBAL, and so much more. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Chelsea Johnson. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on the line today, I have a good sister of mine. She's in Pennsylvania now, but she is born and raised right here in the great city of Baltimore, Maryland. And she's also a graduate of the world famous, illustrious Morgan State. Did I mention a national treasure? Morgan State University, where she was a megastar there. She won't say that, but I will, because she's my friend and I know she's humble. And also, her sister was a megastar there as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Miss Chelsea Johnson. Chelsea, how you feeling today?
Wow, I'm feeling wonderful. That was quite the introduction. I feel like I'm on the Grammy Awards show or something. Appreciate it. Thank you for having me today. I appreciate that.
No problem. Happy that you took time out of your busy schedule. Hoping all is well, but I'm very happy you came on. So, you superstar journalist, but before we get there, let's go back to remember the first time we met.
Yes, and that was through Morgan, through ESPN, because I reached out to you. You were working at ESPN at the time, and I just had I got accepted for the internship. Yeah, you just came back home because you did decide to go different career paths. So yeah, you did decide to come back home. But of course, I had to hit up my brother Brian. I was like, "What's going on with ESPN?" So yeah, those were the humble beginnings. About 5 years ago.
Yeah. So yeah, it was 2016. I remember I was for some reason. So I'm always, my friends say that I have like the best memory in the world. I remember I was coming home and I was getting ready to turn on my street, and I just happened to look on my phone and I saw a message, Chelsea Johnson, Morgan State University. So I see Morgan State. Of course, I'm gonna respond. I usually respond to my messages. So he was like, "Hey, you told me you was about to get this opportunity." So I was like, "Oh snap, that's good. We got somebody from Morgan that's going to have an opportunity to go to ESPN." So I was like, "Hey, let's set up a phone call." And I mean, you went there and excelled. Before we get into that, though, when did you know you wanted to be a journalist and in the sports? Because you've done a lot before you got to where you are, but when did you know this was the business that you wanted to pursue?
Yeah, I knew since elementary school, actually, when watching NBA on TNT, watching EJ and the Cats on TNT and the Sage Stills and Jamel Hills. I knew in freaking elementary school, and I wanted to pursue that career in fifth grade, when you apply to different middle schools in your area. So I applied to Deer Park Magnet School for their communications program. And for the whole tryout process, we had to write a script, read it on camera. So your girl got a 90%, but she was waitlisted. I was like, oh my gosh, the shade, right? The shade. So I thought that I was going to be a shoe in for that, but God worked it out, and I went to Woodlawn, which was, a whole different, story. But yeah, ever since then, I knew. But I thank God that He did not let me, get shaded away from, being in the communications industry dealing with that. So yeah, she knew her purpose early on.
That's amazing. So, you in high school, are you constantly any opportunity you get, are you writing about sports? Like if you have, create a writing class, are you trying to find your lane in sports the whole time just to kind of prepare you since you already knew what you wanted to do?
Yeah, high school. I don't think I didn't do too much involving sports in high school. I know in English we had to do like a motivation, like a speech for something that you were passionate about. So of course I chose Ray Lewis and why he was the best player in the league, the best linebacker of all time.
It's so
So that
funny. You
was
must
the
have read my mind because I was going to ask you, did you channel your inner Ray Lewis? And sure enough.
yes, he was challenged, and hey, I got an A on that assignment as well. So yeah, I always had a passion for sports. High school didn't really offer me too many, sports journalism opportunities then because I went there for graphic print communications at Western Tech.
Okay. How'd you like that? Especially you would use that later in your career, correct? Especially when you start doing more social media stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So Adobe Photoshop for sure, like making flyers for my website or for, when I was doing my YouTube show on YouTube. Yeah, that them Photoshop skills, even though it's an expensive program, but you can get the trial. So what I used to do is I would get like the 30-day trial and keep on changing my email and re-downloading it because Adobe's expensive. It's expensive. I'm on a budget.
I don't blame you. You so you doing that. When did you create Chelsea with the T? I remember you had a show in one episode. I remember you kind of teaching the ladies how to watch sports. And I always thought that was like the coolest thing. I didn't think of it as you were trying to be like condescending. And what I mean condescending in a way like, hey girl, the only way you're gonna get a real man is if you watch his sports. I didn't think of it like that, but I thought she was just offering some help. When did you come up with that idea?
That was so funny. I feel like that was the pilot of Tea with Chelsea T, and that was way back in maybe 20. Lord, I can't even keep up. Maybe 2016, 2017, or probably 2017, right when I graduated Morgan. I was just trying to come up with ways to, break the ice and get more female viewers, to watch it. They might not be interested in sports, but if they see the benefits of it and how, easy it can be and how fun it can be. So I brought on my best friend Joy, and I think I just asked her maybe a few questions about what's the name of the Lombardi trophy? What's the name of this trophy? Then I'll put pictures on screen. Who's this guy? It'll be a picture of Tom Brady or, just like some simple questions that we wouldn't know since we follow sports, but just some simple facts that I feel like everyone who would like to get into sports should know. So yeah, it was cute and fun. I liked it.
Yeah, it was really cool. When did you develop your love and passion for sports?
Elementary school, back
Oh,
when I was trying to decipher the difference between offense and defense, trying to decipher who was Jamal Lewis, who was Ray Lewis. So I was really, really young. I think I remember the second or third grade of elementary school, back when I was just trying to understand the game, understand the X's and O's of football. But it was in elementary school. I just fell in love with Ray Lewis, just his demeanor, how he overcomes adversity. And I'm like, me and him are kind of similar. Not that I was involved into a criminal court case, back in the day outside of a club. That wasn't me. But, she overcame adversity just like he does. So, yeah,
did
they're in
you?
love with the Ravens. My family as well. My parents, they're like sports fanatics. So it was through the Johnson blood for sure.
Yeah. So it's funny you say that. Um, your sister and I was in Spanish class together that semester that the Ravens won the championship. And so it's like you said, it's in the Johnson's blood. I can kind of remember her kind of getting, excited about it.
Uh-oh, you see flashbacks?
No, because I'm remembering her rant about one of her classes.
Uh-huh.
And I'll just leave it at that. You know how you start telling one story and then something else come up and makes you laugh. We'll talk about
Louisa
that off the
Furno.
air. But shout out to your
Yeah, I gotta hear
sister.
that story.
She's amazing. I gotta get her one too, and let her get settled. Um, but so what made you choose Morgan State University? Was you following the footsteps of your sister? Is it a legacy thing? You like, what made you choose Morgan?
Well, my good old sister following in her path. She went there for journalism, and I wanted to stay close to home because growing up I was really sheltered. So I wanted some freedom, but I did not want to be too far from my house. So I can head down east side, hit the Beltway, and be there because I'm from Woodlawn. So it's not a far drive, but it's still that little escape for me to get my freedom. So yeah, Morgan, it was no brainer. I wanted to go to an HBCU. I need to be around my Black brothers and sisters. It's essential. So like every Black person needs that Black experience.
Mhm.
So it was a no-brainer. And I am so glad I did, child. My best friends that I went to school with, still best friends to them to this day. My SGJC fam, mentors, alumni, child. Morgan State, yeah, a beautiful
Yeah,
place.
I'm so proud of y'all. I had Tremone Lucas. I had Malik Obi, Benjamin McKnight on the podcast. And I hope I'm not omitting anybody else who came after we did. And to see what the School of Global Journalism would become. See, I was there for the blueprint where Dean Wickham said, "Hey, this is what the school is going to look like." And I was thinking, of course, like you don't sit back and say, "Man, I want to stay," but you're like, "Wow, they're gonna have it made." Then they, go away to ESPN, come back and visit, pop into school. You see, wait, this looks different. And like your sister got a chance to see both sides, what it used to look
Mhm.
like and what it would become. Then to see y'all excel, to see there was a time, I don't know if that you heard the story. There was a time where the Afro WBAL said we don't want Morgan students because Morgan students are lazy.
Hmm.
Yep. And
That's
yeah, yep. And that's what they told Mr. Wickham in 2012, 2013. And he told me and my brother right there. People they're listening, they can't see, but I'm pointing to the poster of the Dwayne Allen, my co-host from the wrestling room. He sat us down and told us, "This is where y'all come in." He said, "I need you to do these assignments every week." And we had to go write these stories. Shout out to the late, great NABJ founder, John C. White. We would partner with him, talk to him, and he would give us the assignment. He would be an editor, and this, that, and the other. And that's how I got my first story published in the Afro, when we put it on the Afro's website. But he told us we basically had to help him program the way the media industry, the local media industry, thought about Morgan State students. So it was, to see the fruits of our labor, in a sense, to see y'all doing such a phenomenal job. And not saying we taking credit, we had to break through some glass ceilings, no pun intended, but y'all came in and maintained that tradition. Y'all was able to take advantage of the resources you had, as opposed to saying, "Why don't you just hand me this?" I want to take a quick minute to talk about mental health. As you all know, we are living in unprecedented times, whether it's the racial pandemic or the COVID-19 pandemic. Well, I want to introduce you to Hope Again Counseling Services, where transformation begins. Hope Again provides help for children, adolescents, adults, family, and couples. So give them a call at 410-698-8442 or visit them on the web at yourhopeagain.com to book your appointment. If you are willing to believe, you will begin to achieve, and ultimately, Hope Again Counseling Services can help you receive all that is meant for you. You gave up your crown. It was just a big step. You don't hear a lot of people doing that. Gave up your crown to go up to Bristol, Connecticut in the freezing cold. In the freezing cold. Was it a no-brainer? Were you nervous? Did you have any doubts?
It was a no-brainer for me. I think the biggest thing was letting my school know, when I sent that letter out, like it was all over like HBCU, Pride Nation, like
I remember reading it.
so man, I'm like, oh gosh, this is big. System made national news. But I mean it was no brainer because at the end of the day, I know that I did what I could do for Morgan. So now it's time to leave my legacy when it comes to my career and journalism. Like it's much bigger than Miss Morgan. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah, it's much bigger. We look at the Stuart Scotts. Quite sure he had opportunities that he had to pass up, you know what I'm saying, to get somewhere bigger, you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
it was a no-brainer.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome. When you got the ESPN, what was your first reaction? Now, granted, we had that conversation, but obviously you had to see things for yourself. What was your first reaction the first day you stepped on campus?
Wow, I was like, it's kind of like starstruck in a way. Like, wow, am I really here? Like, am I really like sitting at this sports center desk right now? Like, are they gonna find me for sitting here taking a photo? Like, oh my gosh, it was
Was that during the
crazy.
car wash?
It was during a tour. So it wasn't my official day, but it was during a tour that me and my family took.
Okay.
And I was able to take pictures on set and stuff. But yeah, it was crazy though. But when seeing like Jamel Hill, Stephen A. Max Kellerman, and all the big time folks, it didn't feel like I wasn't standing in a room that I wasn't worthy of being in. Granted, I still had all the work that I need to do to get to where they are now, but I knew that I was in a place where God destined to put me in. So it was a great opportunity. Even we had an opportunity to shadow a couple people that we admired. So Jamel Hill, she was number one on that list. She sat down with me. It was just like a real like sister to sister conversation. She kept it so real. You know, Jamel. She keeps it so real. And with Stephen A, I had to stalk him a few times. I would study his schedule so I would know when he would come into the cafe and stuff. So I had him to a T, but eventually I got to sit down with him and he took time with me. And yeah, it was such a good experience. Even Adrian Lawrence, we can't forget about my girl Adrian Lawrence.
Shout out to
She,
Adrian, one of my favorite people.
yes, I love her. I still talk to her to this day. Like
Mhm,
she's the type of person that she'll always be with you. Once she takes you under her wing, you'll be with her for life. So
mhm.
yeah, it's just so many good people, so many good experiences there at ESPN in that cold city.
Yeah, I remember like seeing you on social media and having fun in the cafeteria and stuff. Um one of the things, did you yeah, I know you said your family got a tour. Did you get a chance to like take pictures with them on set, like side by side?
Oh no, yeah, they didn't take pictures on set. It was just
Mm.
me. It was
So
just
it's a reason why I asked, because so my god brother came up for my 28th birthday, and he came to Connecticut. Or was that 29? Yeah, 28. So he came to Connecticut to hang out, and one of the biggest regrets I have was that I set him up for the tour, but I didn't go with him. I was just like,
mm,
"I'm there every day. What I need to go on the tour for?" And I went home. We went out, we dropped them off, went home, waited, and then afterwards we went to the Basketball Hall of Fame. Looking back at it, I should have went on the tour so we could have got pictures together and whatnot. What was and now also while you were there, you was able to build a relationship with John Skipper, and I know that I look, some people may have to say what they gotta say about him. I personally remember they had a kind of like a welcoming ESPN lunch and dinner sort of thing. And it was like, I guess they do it periodically. And he was somebody who went and spoke to all of us, all the production assistants, everybody who was new. He wasn't like somebody who didn't have to talk to you. You got EPs and other people, some talent, Steve Levy, that won't even talk to you,
woo,
John Anderson. Um, but
shade.
I don't plan to work there no more. Uh, shout out to shout out to Robert Flores for being a real one. But you had some people, and Scott Van Pelt was cool, but you had some people who would not talk to you. But John Skipper sat there and talked with us. Then he also, I remember one day I parked next to him. I'm like, "You don't have your own parking spot?" And he waved like it was nothing. But you was able to kind of build a rapport with him. How did you do that?
Wow, John Skipper. Oh, he is such a good man. I knew that when I interned there, I wanted to take a seat at the table with the top of the top. So John Skipper, he was the top of the top.
Mhm.
So I emailed him and I said, there aren't many opportunities for students in HBCUs and ESPN. So can we just, discuss that and just, throw some ideas around. So he put me on his calendar and it was a quick turnaround response. I was on his calendar. I probably saw him, if not that week, the week after I sent the initial email. So I went up in there with my red dress. I said, Chelsea, we're going to be about our business. We doing this, me with John Skipper. And he was just so cool. We talked about my experience at Morgan. We talked about how HBCUs first started. And then he was like, all right, well, I'm going to tell you something. All right, we got something cooking, but you can't tell nobody. So I'm like, all right, what's going on? So he said that they were in the works of starting the Roden Fellowship for students at HBCUs to get chances to work with the Undefeated and with ESPN. So he gave me the ins and outs of that. And we talked a little bit about that, but we still kept in contact after that. If I needed help or assistance with the job search, he would be like, hey Chelsea here, email this person, I'll CC him through. It was always a constant chain of communication. And he never curved me. He never saw me as, oh, this little intern that, is just, he just sowed the seeds into me and helped me get to greater heights. So, and I know with his departure from ESPN, I don't look at that. I look at what he gave to us Black folk. I look at the opportunities he gave. His departure, I don't even see it. He's a good man in heart. I know he is. And that's the type of person I see John Skipper to be.
Yeah, I mean, we don't get the six without John Skipper, and that was the thing. And I think that's what was unfortunate about that whole situation. I'm one of the people I don't like. I don't like to hear nobody talk bad about Lamar Jackson. I don't want to hear nobody talk bad about the six because they wasn't there. Michael Smith is like one of my favorite people. He like the big brother that he don't know he is, but but no, in all seriousness, like he's one of my favorite people. Funny story. We had a company picnic one year. I might get in trouble for this. No, I won't. As I look upstairs. Um, we had a company picnic, and I remember I had on my Bro Bowl shirt. It was a shirt I bought from somebody. It was cowboy, I mean Ravens and 49ers, right? And we walk in, and it's me, my wife. She was pregnant with my daughter at the time, and my son. And Michael Smith is with his family, and then Jamel's standing with them, and he goes, "What's up, man?" to my son. "You having fun?" And Jonathan's like, "Yeah." So then he said, "What's up, man? How you been?" I said, "I'm good." He says, that a Saint shirt?" I said, "Nah, Bro Bowl from the Super Bowl." So he turns and looks at Jamel's like, "Uh-oh, look." And she, rolls her eyes because we all know the Ravens beat the 49ers, destroyed them in the first half, but then they cut off the lights. Um,
Conspiracy.
Bingo. So then after that, my wife comes up and she goes, "Hi, I see you on TV every day." And I'm like, and she was like, "Thank you for watching." And I'm like, "You sitting up there?" And so I was like, his wife right there. I said, "Hey man, this is my wife." And this and he's like, "Hey, nice to meet you." And it was cool, but it was like I said, a lot of ins and outs about the six. But shout out to John Skipper for making that happen. But most importantly, shout out to him for sitting there having that conversation with you and allowing you to have a seat at the table. For the people out there listening, how do they learn how to have a seat at the table without coming off as arrogant and imposing? Because you've been able to do that, and you're somebody, you see something you want it, you go for it, but you're somebody that, and I'm speaking from experience, when your approach is, I want to help this person because she's humble. I like I don't want to use the word aggressive. I'll use the word dedication and determination. So how are you able to do that? And what kind of advice could you give to those out there listening?
That's an excellent question.
Hey, you ain't
Um,
the only journalist on here now.
yeah. That's a good question. Um, I think it was just honestly all about the approach. Me going in there, respecting his position. Just letting him know, I'm a hungry student here. I go to Morgan State. I'm blessed to be here, but I want other people in the same position as me. I'm quite sure y'all had thousands of applicants, but y'all chose little old me from Morgan State. You know what I'm saying? this shouldn't be something that's breaking news. That's once out of every 10 years that'll happen. So how can we get other people to be in my position? And I honestly, I can't remember the exact words throughout our conversation, but I'm sure I just went in there humble. I prayed over it before I went in there. I'm just like, God, speak through me, and yeah, the conversation just flowed. And I think John Skipper, he probably has discernment too. Like God gives me discernment whenever I'm talking to people. I could sense vibes. I could sense who's good for me, who's not for me. And I don't know. I got a sense that John Skipper, he was about that help life. He was about that life. So I guess you just gotta stay humble. Don't go in there thinking that, oh, I'm this, I'm that. Like, I was an intern. I ain't have nothing on my back. I'm still an intern in student debt, an intern of life. So, it's just you gotta come up, you gotta be humble and hungry.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
you had an opportunity to go back. And I remember we talked about this as a digital, kind of being like a production assistant, digital content associate.
No, I think what had happened was I inquired about their digital content program. They had like a
Mhm.
rotational program
Right.
within their whole digital aspect or whatever. So I tossed a few emails here and there with the departments who were in charge of that. But then eventually I said, you know what? This opportunity, it isn't for me, so I don't want to waste your time if
Okay.
I'm not all into it. I want you to give that to someone else because I solely wanted to be on air.
Hmm.
But my pathway was, oh, we're gonna get on TV. We won't do the behind the scenes, all that and work from the ground up. So that was where my mindset was. But I was like, you know what, give this opportunity to somebody else. I won't even waste your time.
Okay.
So
Well, yeah,
yeah.
that's what I was getting to. Now, while you were an intern, do you think you learned more there than you would have, say, like, had you interned somewhere here in Baltimore, as far as preparing you for where you are now?
That's a great question. Honestly, as an intern there, I was on the production side of things. Cutting the highlights, that was a learning curve for me. Just knowing the type of video to pull, it was a learning curve for me. And I never wrote anything for sports other than quick articles. But when you're talking writing a sports highlight and putting a
A
video
shot sheet.
together and watching it and logging it, it's a lot of that's a lot of pressure. So eventually when I started to get good at it, it was a little bit too late and they bumped me down to be on a VO unit. So I was just logging interviews from like 10 to 6:30 or whatever all day. So did I learn anything doing that? No.
Well, you
what
actually you
well,
got a
I'm
chance.
saying logging the interviews, but what
Oh,
I
okay.
will say, what I did learn was that I should have took it a bit more seriously doing the highlights, but that was something that I was not interested in doing. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? But we all have a role to play. So I probably should have spent more time instead of figuring out who I'm a shadow. How about you stay a little bit later, talk to producers, and get more hands-on training on how to do these highlights the right way, and you know.
Well,
But
it's weird because they did it backwards. Because generally you start on VO and cut B-roll, and then you go to highlights.
mm,
Sometimes, and because think about it, you learn it, you're getting familiar with, picking out the B-roll and whatnot, and then the highlights is a whole beast in itself. You talking, like you said, watching a full game, logging everything, writing the shot sheet, writing the cut sheet, getting it to the editor, them telling you, no, we're gonna do it this way, then all that, and then sometimes it don't even air.
oh my God, they'll move it down to the Z block. So
Yep. Do you remember the first time you had one go to the Z block?
all the time, all them test trials, everything was a Z block for
Oh,
Chelsea, honestly.
so my first three or first four was on TV. Then they was like, "Oh yeah, this is in the Z block," and I'm like, "Okay, so when does it come on?" They was like, "Oh yeah," I was like, "But y'all wanted it on air," so that was the thing. When you what was your favorite one? Do you remember the first one that aired on TV?
None of them had on
None of
TV.
them.
So I did probably about we were on highlights for probably a couple weeks until I
Oh,
got
okay.
booted off. So I remember one highlight, it was during the World Series,
Mhm.
the Indians World Series in
Oh,
16.
Indians and Cubs.
Yeah, so that was sort of like I was hoping I could save grace there. So I forgot what the name of the top EP was, but he was like the top guy. And I did a
Okay.
highlight, wrote the shot sheet, did everything. He was like, "This is good." I'm like, "Oh shoot!" So maybe I'll get redemption. But no, I was on VO unit later on that week. So
Well, so you come back home, you finish school, right? Or you had graduated already?
I finished the next semester because I was still taking like 12 credits at
Oh,
ESPN. Yeah.
oh wow. Yeah. How in the world did you balance that?
Well, I had to do it. Luckily, I had professors who were very flexible. So we were able to balance that. But if I wasn't able to do that, I wouldn't have graduated on time. Then I had to take 20 credits just to graduate on time. So
Yeah, because the word on the street, the unofficial word was that you was coming back home and you was going right to ESPN.
no. I
That
don't know
was
who lied on my name, but I did
it,
not say
no,
that.
not no, not that you said it. It was the like you ever notice when there's an athlete and they look like, oh yeah, they're going right to the league.
No.
It was it was like that. Like everybody was just we'll talk about that off air too. No, folks. Look, maybe we'll create a Patreon for the and we'll split the cost of the whole conversation.
Week. No, man. I got sent straight to the G League after the graduation draft.
But so you came back home, Fox Sports 1340. You went there. By now I had left.
Again.
I
I'm
know, right?
still a trend.
I know, right? I just realized that. Let me find out Johns Hopkins is next for you. But but yeah, so how was your time there though, overall?
Oh man, whew, I gotta thank again, and I appreciate you too because you would just help me along my way. But Fox Sports was really cool. That was like my first time being able to cover professional sports. So I was able to cover the Washington Wizards, the Washington Redskins, but mainly the Wizards was my beat
Mhm.
during my time there. But what's crazy is growing up watching John White, Kentucky. He was like my favorite college player of all time.
Oh wow.
Favorite, yeah. So I'm like, this is just crazy how it just worked out. But I mean, it was just amazing being in the locker room, interviewing these athletes. My guy Bradley Bill, oh my gosh, it took him a little bit while to get comfortable as any athlete will with any journalist. But I just noticed that like his answers would start to get, more open. We would joke around a little bit, and he would, I guess, he would have that trust with a journalist. I developed that
Mhm.
trust with him, and it was awesome. I enjoyed it. I didn't get paid for it, but guys, it's not about how much you get paid. That free experience, you can't put a price on it. And I honestly think that experience helped me get to where I am today, with just reporting, my knowledge of sports, and just being in there. I was pretty much an MMJ already, and I didn't even know it.
Yeah,
So,
I definitely remember that. Shout out to Glenn Thomas, my big brother.
yes.
I remember calling him up, and it was kind of like when I was like Bill Belichick calling we were using all these sports references. I was like Bill Belichick calling the 49ers GM say when he sent them their eventual NFC championship winning quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo. But I said, hey Glenn, I got somebody for you. I said that I got a superstar for you, a blue chipper, 5-star recruit, and and the rest is history. But you also did some work with DTLR.
Yes, yes. So with DTLR, I first started off, shout out to my brother Jay Hill. I first started off as an opportunity for me to just see the ropes. So I said, Jay, like, can I go up to the station and see what it's all about? He was like, yeah, come on through. Then sure enough, we sitting there. I'm just, taking my mental notes. And then an hour later, I don't know if it was even an hour later, probably maybe 20 minutes in the room. He said, all right, Chelsea, I'm gonna put you on. I'm like, dang, you gonna put me on already? Okay, so let me just figure out what sports I'm gonna talk about. I forgot what I even talked about during that time. But yeah, it was a good flowing natural sports segment. So I said, well, can I come in next week? He's like, yeah. And then it came to, can I come next week? Can I come next week? Can I be your official co-host? So I would have my official Tea with Chelsea T sports segment with DTLR Radio. And then eventually I was able to get my own show, Tea with
Mhm.
Chelsea T on DTLR Radio. I was rocking out with them for a few months. And then my career, I was just like, this is a great opportunity. I love it here. But radio, I don't think radio isn't really as far as right now and back then in my life. I didn't really want to do radio. I was so stuck on doing TV. I'm like TV, TV, TV. So how can I get to TV? So yeah, but DTLR radio, yeah, that was a fun time for sure.
Yeah. And then you also will go to WBAL. Now, for us Baltimoreans, it's usually most people, most households, there's three channels because I don't really, no, I ain't gonna say that. It's four channels that people watch. It's either Fox 45, but generally, growing up in our household, WJZ was the channel.
Mhm.
WBAL was the backup, and then there was WMAR and Fox 45. Which one was yours before we get into that opportunity? Which one did you grow up watching?
Mine, it was a mixture between WJZ, Kai Jackson, loved him. And I would say TV 11 as the backup, but it
Mhm.
was always WJZ first.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, same here. Now, how did that opportunity come about? And you said you wanted to be on air, but you went as an assignment editor. Uh, and what was the reaction, especially from your family, because you're working at like one of the biggest stations in the city? So now it's like, a station that most people growing up watching, like, oh, we got somebody in the door now. So what was that like?
Yeah, that was amazing. That was actually a point in time in my life where I was just trying to brainstorm what's the quickest way I can get onto TV. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, let's take a break away from sports and let's try something different. So let's try local news, something that I would have never considered. But Traymon Lucas, he worked at WBAL and he said, Charles, we got this assignment editor position available. So he referred me, went through the interview process, and I got the job in January of 2019.
Mhm.
Yeah, I got the job as an assignment editor. So that was a fun job. It was just really behind the scenes. Baltimore is a big market, top 30 news market. So this was a good opportunity for me to start off in news. So I was able to listen to police scanners. So much happened at one time. We got an officer involved shooting. We got the Healthy Holly, the Mayor Pugh scandal. We got shootings. We got fatal fires. It's like, oh my gosh, all this news all at once. But having that breaking news experience, so much going on in Baltimore, that helped me, become a good reporter, and to really enjoy it. I actually enjoyed it. It was like a adrenaline rush. I enjoyed
Mhm.
being out there in that newsroom. It was cool. I definitely needed it in order to be a reporter on a news station. You definitely need that assignment editor position experience.
Now, was you ever in a news station when you seen a familiar name, good or bad, come across the wire?
Oh, like somebody I knew?
Yeah, like somebody you knew or knew of. Um, like I know I talked to Trey and he said one time he did have to write a story about somebody he went to high school with.
Wow.
Has that ever happened to you? Like you see, like, oh,
Working there? No. I'm trying to figure out when that G Songs murder was. I think that was after, because that was
okay,
during the summer of I feel like that was during the summer of 19, I feel like. Forgive me if this is wrong. But yeah, other than that, I don't think it was anybody that I personally knew that was, yeah, part of the news tips.
okay.
Yeah.
So
And
now
if I
you
did, I wouldn't tell y'all because I ain't a rat. So,
she's not a rat, but she's what- oh man, oh man. They gonna be cracking up. Now, Sinclair Broadcasts, WJACTV, good friend of ours, Alexis Wainwright. If I'm not mistaken, she had just left. Well,
yeah, I only had a chance to talk to her for a couple months before her contract expired. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, because I remember that was around time of NABJ, and that was the last time we was all together. Um,
Mm.
but I do remember like that was the transition, and I remember just kind of watching on social media. She was leaving, and you was coming in, and to see that transition. But and almost, I guess you could say like a torch being passed. What was it like going there? Especially, let's keep it 100, you come in there and then it's not too many people that look like us, people that's come from HBCUs, and then here you come after she leaves. Did people in the area kind of say, oh, are you the new Alexis, or did they allow you
Mhm.
to have your own identity?
Well, the way our station is set up, we have different bureaus. So she was part of the State College Bureau, and I was part of the Du Bois Bureau. So I never got
Okay.
a chance to meet Alexis because she would be an hour and a half away, and our schedules will always conflict. And when
Okay.
you somebody's nights out working weekends, you get weekends off. It's just it's a show. But it is a show. But I have my own chance to make my own identity. And yeah, you don't see anybody that looks like you. I remember when me and my boyfriend first moved down here, we're like, bro, what the hell did we sign up for? What did we? Oh Lord, is this FCC? Are we
No.
gonna get fined?
No. Oh,
FCC.
trust me, the episodes that right before a couple of episodes before this one was a bunch of F-bombs. I had a former
Okay.
basketball player and a wrestler, so you can imagine how that went.
Yeah, very, very aggressive. Okay. But that's cool then. Cool, cool, cool. But yeah, you don't see anybody. And before I came here, I Googled like the demographics. I saw that
Mhm.
it was like 0.005% black. I'm like, all right. You see it on paper, but it's nothing like living this life. Okay. Like the camo, the deer hunting, it's a
Worse than
different.
Bristol?
Well, yes, because at least Bristol, you can go to Hartford, like a 30-minute
Yeah.
drive to Hartford, go to the clubs, get your little diversity. And you still got
Mhm.
the hood from Bristol 30 minutes away. If you go
That's
to New
true.
Haven, go up in the crevices,
Yeah.
you'll find the
What
hood.
is it? Gunslinger New Haven?
Yeah,
They
you
hard hitting New Britain.
look, there ain't none of that over here. So so it was definitely a culture shock. But I mean, I'm thankful for the opportunity. I get my chance to make all my mistakes on there
Mhm.
without hearing too many complaints. So they always say when you start off, you got to start off small to make your mistakes. And yeah, starting out, I definitely understood that.
Are you planning a huge celebration and perhaps you need some balloons to make your event look nice? Well, I have the perfect place for you, and that's Symphony of Balloons. Symphony of Balloons will do all events, including baby showers, weddings, birthday parties, or that special anniversary. Contact them today at 410-802-1531 or email them at symphonyofballoons@gmail.com and tell them Brian H. Waters sent you. How long did it take you to get comfortable there? Like just with the area, with the people, and being on air? Because this is your first news on air position. You've done sports, but now you're doing news. And obviously, people will say, and I've learned that if you can cover sports, you can cover anything because you're essentially covering every type of news. That's what a lot of people don't realize. But how was it for you?
Yeah, I would say starting off, it was an adjustment, like personality wise. Like with sports, I could give my Chelsea T swagger. I can be funny and jokey. But when it comes to news, you gotta be like, the district attorney says that 5 people were just killed. It's like it's no funny Chelsea. This is straight to the point. It's like, yes, no smiling. So I think that was probably the biggest thing. And of course, just having that confidence on there, articulating everything, just making sure I had a smooth delivery along with my writing skills. But I would probably say when I when I was really, really comfortable, I would probably say probably 6 to 8 months after starting,
Okay.
just understanding the area, just getting to the job of turning packages every day, having 3 live shots a day, and just being on top of it. So yeah, I've definitely gotten better. Even now, I'm still learning, still growing. I've only been doing this for what, a year and 6 months. But
Mhm.
people say, "Darn girl, look like you've been doing this your whole life," and I'm like, because you did not see me when I first started. Oh my gosh, I'm like, these live shots are trash. Like, why did my news director have me on TV looking like this? But I mean, that's why you start off in a small market, to get
Mhm.
those horrible things out. And she got them out because they were not good.
Oh man. Um, a year ago, almost a year ago, COVID-19 happens. Everybody's, we're all in this together, kind of sent home. How did that change for you? Especially you were starting to get comfortable, but now everything has got to be socially distant. How did you make that adjustment?
Yeah. So at first I would feel even uncomfortable doing an interview, even if I had a mask on 6 feet away. Yeah, I would feel uncomfortable doing an interview. But Sinclair, since the start of the pandemic, Sinclair has allowed us to work from home. If we don't feel comfortable, do phone interviews, do Zoom interviews, do Skypes. So, since March of last year, I pretty much have been doing things virtual. I've been working from home. I do live shots inside of my living room, unless it's like a big breaking news story. We had a homicide some months back, but we don't get them too often, probably once every 12 months. So breaking news really isn't, it's not, yeah. I probably had maybe three homicides since I've been working here in September 2019 in my area, though. So in the
Hmm.
4 counties I cover. So it's a really safe place to live, other than the drug epidemic. But you know, so yeah, it was what was the question again? Because I the drug epidemic just threw me off because I was watching crack on Netflix yesterday. It took me, it sent
No,
me.
yeah, I was just saying about as far as you just getting comfortable as and well, no, more COVID-19 and how's that switch, but you answered the question. You said doing live shots from your living room. Now, did you set up a
Yeah.
space where you can dedicate the kind of, because you're doing this from home and I talked to Sydney Simone last week and we was talking about that as far as being in the in your home and trying to still maintain that level of privacy. So was that a concern of yours while doing these live shots?
Um, well, at first, when I was doing them outside of my home, I'm like, oh gosh, will somebody recognize this tree behind me with five branches and six leaves? They may know where I'm at. But eventually I got out of that because everything pretty much kind of looks the same in a way. So I try to keep it pretty neutral in my background, not showing my house and my block number. Uh yeah. But when I would do it in the living room, it was cool. I didn't really have a space dedicated. It just happened to be that I had a picture of Italy on my wall, and I just set it up right there, and and it worked out.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
Mhm.
awesome. What has been your favorite story that you've covered since being there, or a story that resonates? Like maybe one that's been like something a package you did. Like, man, I really did that. That was great.
I would say one of the Black Lives Matter protests in State College. And I was thankful that I got this opportunity because it worked out. I don't work on weekends. So one of our reporters, she wanted me to cover one of her shifts and she would give me a day off. So I worked a Sunday. I never work Sundays, but if something big goes on, I'll have to go to the State College Bureau. So
Mhm.
they had a protest in the State College Bureau about an hour and 15 minutes away from me. And it worked out. It was like, it felt good to finally be part of the national discussion of these protests and why they matter. Because being in rural PA, as a Black reporter and all this is going on with George Floyd, and you don't think that you'll get an opportunity to contribute to the coverage, contribute to the fight for equality, especially when it comes to Black lives. So to be there, it was just like amazing, like, especially in State College being so far not so far away from home, but still far away from home. But you still have people marching in these streets and just being there with the people behind me doing my live shot. It was like, oh my gosh, this is like CNN. This is like what they do in Baltimore. It was like, it was a big stage for me, even though,
Mhm.
we're not in Baltimore, DC, but it was a good stage for me, just sharing the voices of why they were there marching. It was kind of brought me back a little bit closer to home, seeing Black people marching with white people. It was just like, okay, this is cool. This is a vibe. I like it. So yeah, that was nice.
Now, what was it like you being there and kind of seeing what's going on at home as far as the protest? Reason why I asked, so for me, I was I can tell you exactly I was in building, I always get them mixed up. 3, where the newsroom is at ESPN.
Your memory blows me. I was in the 300 block of Urban Avenue. Like what?
That's actually around the corner. Actually, it's the 34, 30. That's what
Can't.
everybody says that. It's a few episodes where I've had friends say, "Man, shout out to Albert. Albert was at NABJ, the one when me, your sister, and a bunch of us went together down in our first one in Orlando, and I was
Oh.
reliving that memory, and he was like, "Wow, man." But yes, I was in the newsroom the night Baltimore was on fire, and it was Freddie, after Freddie Gray, and you see that, and I'll never forget. I don't know if you remember Tom DeCourty, if you ever got a chance to meet him, but he was like one of the Sports Center producers, and he was like, "Your family's from Baltimore, right, Brian?" I was like, "Yeah." I'm like, I didn't know he knew that, and he was like, "Are your peoples okay?" And this that, and the other, but seeing, even though it wasn't like as there was still coverage here in Baltimore, and there was still um there wasn't riots, but there was some, a little bit on that Saturday night, with some beef between the media, some of the protesters. What was it like being away and kind of like hearing about that and seeing it? Are you like checking social media to see what's going on, or by the time you get home, are you decompressing?
So are we referring to
George
April?
Floyd, yeah.
Oh, we're talking about George Floyd, so not the April years ago with Freddie Gray.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, with George Floyd, I was just like, bro, like it's like some people here in Western PA, they don't get it. Like
Mhm.
you have conversations with people. My boyfriend tells me about the conversations he has with employees at his job, and they just don't get it. They still don't get why Colin Kaepernick was protesting during the national anthem, and they think that it's disrespect when it's such a deeply rooted cause. I mean, but they just, it's like their brain just can't see past that. And those conversations happen a lot around here. So to be around some, I won't say all, but to be around some people that don't relate and don't understand the trauma, and just to not feel comfortable and not be around, my best friends or black people who we understand we're going through the same pain, you know what I'm saying? Even though we're
Mhm.
not physically being shot, but our brothers and sisters are being shot, and there's nothing that we can do about it. You know what I'm saying? Right now, I feel like here, like it's sort of like I'm in a bubble. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
these people don't get it. Trump flags everywhere, Confederate flags on, houses here and there. It's like, bro, like even now with what happened to the Capitol, Trump signs are still up. They still hold it with pride. Like I don't get it. So it's like, oh, I picked the perfect time to be out here. Then like, oh my gosh. But like I said, not all the people are like that. But
How are you able to maintain, one, your mental health, and two, your sense of humor?
child, I was just talking to my boyfriend. He was like, babe, I am effed up. Like, I don't know who I am no more, bro. Like, and I mean, that's just, that's what comes with it. Unfortunately, like,
Mhm.
I'm glad that he was able to come out here with me to sacrifice 2 years out of his life. You know what I'm saying? To come to this small market. He's never lived anywhere like this. Neither have
Mhm.
I. You know what I'm saying? So it's a big thing for both of us. Thankfully, we have each other. God is getting us through, but we have our moments where we break down. I have my moments where I get drunk and I have my breakdowns. Like, why am I here? Why did God send me here? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But it is what it is. I'm proud. I'm not the only one with a story like this. So
Yep.
whatever. Suit
Yep.
in a boot and keep moving.
I have to say you're doing a phenomenal job. I'm sitting here watching from afar. Always look at the clips you post on social media, and to see you go from the person who sent me a message on LinkedIn, "Hey, can I pick your brain?" to now, thriving. I'm gonna ask you this question. You don't have to answer it. Would you come home and do what you do? Would
Heck
you?
yes.
Okay.
Baltimore is definitely, my contract is up in September this year. So I got my ears to the Baltimore streets.
Me
Hopefully I
too.
will be able to go back home to where it all started, WBAL. Hopefully I
Mhm.
can go to Fox, even ABC or CBS. I don't care. I just want to go home. Like the Baltimore news cycle is unlike any other.
Right.
Yeah, and it's home for me. Like that would be a dream come true for real.
Let's make it happen. Whatever I gotta do. I mean, not saying I got like the biggest pull, obviously,
But you got some magic around here. Did you used to work at CBS Baltimore? Because
I wish, no.
because everywhere you work, I seem to just slide on in.
I know, right? I know, right? No, but I'll definitely, see if I see anything, I'll definitely let you know. Would I mean, we need you covering the Ravens. Maybe that's what maybe wait, so you get here next year, then yes, contract in next year. Yeah, maybe that's the reason why they couldn't win. They can win the next year so you can get a ring.
That is very wishful thinking. We'll see. Maybe Pete Gilbert can make some room for me at TV 11.
There you go. Or you just work for the Ravens and their digital content and be
That
on
would
their
be an
person.
option. Yeah, that would be an
I
option.
mean, maybe if you holler at Sage, then tell her holler at Chad.
Sad. I'm weak. That would be a great opportunity though. Talk about a dream come true.
And then
Who
get
knows?
then
And
get
I'm not just
me in.
sitting here wearing my Ravens hoodie, even though y'all can't see it.
Right. they might have to get the video version. But yeah, before we get out of here, the title of the show is called Breaking Through the Glass Ceiling. So what was the moment that you broke through the glass ceiling?
I think the glass ceiling was broken when my mom had her C-section 25 years ago. Psych, I'm joking. I joke too much. When was the glass ceiling broke?
That moment you realized you was good at what you do. Don't worry, everybody gets stumped on this question.
Yeah, it was harder than a jigsaw puzzle. Moment I knew. Probably when I got the ESPN internship. I think that was the affirmation that even though I didn't have much experience on my resume underneath my belt, I was less than highly favored. So whatever I wanted throughout my career, and I always said this, everything I want, I get. I said I was going to get on ESPN, I got that. I said I was going to be a news reporter, I got that. I said I would work in the Baltimore news station, I got that. I said I would be Miss Morgan, I got that. I said I would be a member of the Alpha Delta chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, I got that. I said I would find my man, I got him. Hello? Like, power in the tongue is real, especially when you put actions behind the words and you have faith and you trust. And one thing I also know, if you have a pure heart and if you pass these blessings down on to the people that come behind you, like I have so many people that message me saying, Chelsea, got some advice for me? I'm like, hell yeah, I got advice for you. Just hit me up, whatever. It's whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just all about having a good heart, man. Like, if you have a good heart, God's going to be there every step of the way. So I think ESPN was just affirmation for me. Like, wow, this is big. Okay, bet. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
That's amazing. Man, wow. I'm gonna write that down. Everything I say I want, I get.
Yes. Hello. It's just what it is. Power of the tongue is real.
Amen. Before we get out of here, let the people know where they can find you.
Hey guys, you all can find me on Instagram at Chelsea WJAC. You can all find me on Twitter. That's Chelsea WJAC TV. And you all can find me in Western Pennsylvania in Clearfield County if you want to come looking for me. Yeah.
Oh man, Chelsea, I appreciate you coming on. Don't go too far, but stop the record button because I gotta tell you those stories.
Okay, I'll be right here. All right, brother, man. Nice talking to you. Thanks for having me.
We'll be back after these messages. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for this week's episode of Breaking Through Glass Ceilings. I hope you really enjoyed this conversation that Chelsea and I had. It's always great to catch up with her. Coming up next week, I go to New York City as I bring on a good brother of mine, Chris Williamson from SNY-TV. I promise you will not want to miss that one. So, ladies and gentlemen, as always, remember, do not let anybody set up a ceiling that you can't break through. So long, everybody. This podcast was recorded and edited by B Waters Productions. The music by Hypno Beats. Make sure you follow him at Hypno_Beats with a Z on Instagram.